This is the Conscious Hour, and this one I call political spin. You got two teams that are trying to win, the Republican, Democrat, that division thing, and they have their own strategies. But sometimes what they're telling you isn't even real. So you wonder, what are we supposed to do as citizens who want to vote and re-elect people and bring them in when you find out later that they weren't even telling you the truth? So this one I want you to comment on because it's an interesting conversation, and I want you to tell me what you think.
President Trump, turning to Iran, says the situation in Iran is so good, but 6 months into a war that he said would last about 6 weeks, he's stuck in a stalemate. His 60-day ceasefire expired, no signs of a peace deal or plans for further talks. And this morning, Iran's president says that it is in a full-scale war with the U.S. If you were still Donald Trump's vice president, what would you advise him to do right now?
Well, first, I just want to reiterate, I think President Trump did exactly the right thing, taking the fight for the first time directly to the mullahs in Tehran last year and again this year in Operation Epic Fury. Our military did a brilliant job. The USS Abraham Lincoln is steaming home. I know some folks that were flying aircraft off that ship. They took down 13,000 sites, but then they stopped, Dana, as you suggest. We started into a period of ceasefires. We negotiated the 60-day MOU, which turned out to be for naught. And I think, as the president announced, strong new D-Day style economic sanctions, it's going to be absolutely imperative that we keep the pressure on and that we keep the military assets in the region to be able to take the action that I believe is going to be inevitable. Look, you don't make peace with your enemy. You make peace with your defeated enemy. And the kind of rhetoric you heard from the president of Iran this morning proves that the Iranians don't yet understand that they have been defeated, despite the fact that they have been. But I think it's going to be essential that we keep the pressure on, keep the military assets in the region, because I think the time is going to come sooner rather than later when the president and our ally Israel are going to have to go in and finish the job.
Okay, I mean, there's so much to react to, but what stands out for you?
What stands out immediately for me is I thought before he was a total idiot. Now I know he is. That's what stands out. I don't think there was a truthful statement, even the encomium that he expressed about our military, particularly Lincoln, and what was done off Lincoln's flight decks. I don't even think that's accurate. And it's certainly not accurate that the Iranians are defeated and just don't know it. I would say if I were turning that around and pointing at Donald Trump in the United States, that it better fits us than it fits Iran. But all that said, he's a perfect example of what's wrong with this administration. They cannot see. The old saying is you can't see the forest for the trees, or vice versa. They can't see the forest or the trees. They do not understand what's going on. They particularly don't understand what's going on with the military aspects of this 28th February, I think it started. We're 6 months into what was going to be, according to David Barnea, who really was the guy who led Trump into this war on behalf of Bibi Netanyahu. They'll fall just as soon as you drop the first bomb. Just as soon as you assassinate a few leaders, they'll fall. Wrong. And we've been wrong ever since. Now, what's happening right now, as I understand it, and this is from some pretty good sources, we're negotiating again. We're not negotiating the way we should be because we don't do diplomacy. We're doing it through third parties. We're doing it through other people. But even in that sense, we are getting some vibes back and forth. And those vibes are that Trump knows he's not going to win this militarily. The Iranians would like to get back to something like the MOU if that were possible. And so they're talking about it. And Trump is using the talks, I think, more than anything else to delay, because he doesn't want a manifestation of total defeat or an Iranian can strike in more ways than they've done before, that is to say, civilian targets in the region and targets that will really be impactful to the global economy. He doesn't want that before the elections. So his plan, I'm being told, is, and this makes sense for Donald Trump, is to delay and to keep this going at a low ebb and to use the economic warfare that he's started now under that moronic Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, hedge fund trader par excellence. Under him, this economic warfare will be something that will elongate the situation so that we get through the elections. And that's what he.
So I'll stop it right there. And the one that gets me was this. Notice Mike Pence, Vice President. Notice the bells in the background? It's staged, folks. Liberty Bell, you know? This is psychological warfare. When you watch mainstream media, everybody is on script. Dana Bash had her script. The whole thing was planned. It's Hollywood, folks. And, you know, Hollywood is involved making all these wonderful movies that you entertain you, and they're also in the pedophilia business and pornography business and the whole thing. Okay, so what you're seeing is an illusion. And the Western media, it's shocking for me. And I don't get shocked much, but the level of saturation of pure BS, pure propaganda is mind-blowing. And then it makes me ask the question, are Americans really that dumb? No, they aren't. They're much more intelligent, and they know when people keep lying. But then you're divided by politics. People want to hang on because they voted for Trump and they believe in Trump because he was going to make America great again. And has he? If he's made America great again, please do me a favor and hit the like and share button, and then comment to the Conscious Hour. I want to know how he's made America great again. I don't play politics. I don't trust the Democrats or Republicans. Never have. I'm a neutral person. I look at the information, I assimilate the facts, and then bring out the information so you can see it. So for now, what I want to hear from you is, what do you believe? And where do you see them distorting reality? Thanks for tuning into the Conscious Hour. It's your Conscious Hour. It's our time to come together. All of us, the people, because the people we elect, they don't represent us. So remember that in November. Thanks for tuning in.